Toward the start of the story, we see an office totally canvassed in a monster cobweb. On the floor, employees are cocooned in stillness. One of the people is pierced by something that looks like a huge stinger all of a sudden. Cooper, a man, is on the phone with his father and running late to work. Cooper's incessant problems and the resulting embarrassment for the family name make his father extremely unhappy. When Cooper tries to show that things aren't so bad, he almost gets hit by a car because he is distracted by the conversation. He finally makes it to the office where he works in a clinic's call center. En route to his workstation, he figures out how to tell several senseless wisecracks about his associates. However, he is summoned to meet with Morin, his boss, before he can even begin his work. She plans to fire Cooper because she received a complaint about his inappropriate behavior with clients. Abruptly, their discussion is intruded on by a stunning sound, making all the workplace laborers drop. A number of days pass. Webs encircle the entire office. The spooky insects keep moving around the office and sting cocoon-bound individuals. Cooper recovers cognizance and liberates himself from the casing. The strange white slime makes him sick. Unexpectedly, a goliath bug assaults him. Notwithstanding his apprehension, Cooper retaliates and figures out how to drive it away. Subsequent to quieting down a little, he sees that his supervisor Morin is caught in a casing close by. Cooper tears the webbing and takes her back to cognizance. Morin is also sick and unsure of what's going on. Abruptly, she recalls that she should meet with her little girl before this baffling occasion happened. However, where is her daughter now? And are any individuals still alive outside the building? Morin, along with Cooper, run out of the workplace and see that individuals on the road are moreover in tremendous cases. Cooper offers to assist Morin in rescuing her daughter when she spots her in the car. Cooper assists Sarah, Morin's girl, break with freeing from the cover. Be that as it may, the young lady doesn't right away comprehend his goals and showers gas from a canister in his eyes. Unexpectedly, an immense bug looking like a wasp snatches Morin and takes off with her. Sarah shouts with sickening dread, however, can do nothing to help her mom. Cooper is experiencing eye pain that is burning. When huge bugs start appearing everywhere, he and Sarah realize they must leave quickly. Inadvertently thumping over a trash can, Sarah sees that the bugs respond to sound. When she sets off the alarm in her car, all the disgusting bugs rush to it right away. They are able to get away as a result of this. In an effort to escape the insects, Cooper and Sarah enter a cafe. Sarah wants to know what happened because she is extremely concerned about her mother. Cooper, on the other hand, finds the situation equally perplexing. Cooper is opposed to Sarah's plan to assist those in the cafe. It's exhausting to try to explain everything to each person because you never know how they will react. Hugo, a man, suddenly grabs Sarah by the neck. Cooper feared this sort of response from individuals. He tries to assist Sarah, but he gets hit in the jaw instead. The frightening insect then reappears and attacks Cooper. Hugo gets occupied from Sarah and annihilates the bug. Sarah still decides to wake everyone in the cafe after coming to her senses. Cindy, Albert, Leachy, Roger, PJ, and the cop. The team as a whole tries to decide what to do next. Sarah warns that leaving on his truck is a bad idea because insects are drawn to noise. Roger suggests that Roger and PJ board the truck despite everyone's warnings. The engine's sound immediately attracts massive beetles, which slam the vehicle into the ground. PJ tries to get out of the truck by jumping out, but he breaks his leg and ends up under the truck's wheels. The bugs divert Roger, who was in the driver's seat, in their horrendous arms. The police officer also dies in the fight with the terrifying creatures. Additionally, an insect stings Hugo's father, Alberta, in the back. The man is unsure of what will happen next, despite the wound appearing to be unaffected. The closest building is where the remaining survivors hide. Leachy proposes investigating. What's more, the gathering goes up to the rooftop. They see a swarm of wasp-like creatures flying in the opposite direction and an enigmatic red smoke there. Thankfully, the survivors are left wondering what to do next. Cooper suggests visiting his retired military father, who has a bunker stocked with all of their necessities. But are they able to survive such a long journey? Several insects suddenly fly toward them. Although Leachy waves her arms, they disappear. It turns out that these monsters can't see and only hear. The survivors make the decision to find out more about the insects. Using a radio, they entice a beetle into a closet and trap it there. Leachy proposes draining it like a snake to concentrate on the toxin. Despite their reservations, the remaining members of the group are in agreement. They fight the terrifying insect once more and get a sample of the venom. The organization is hanging tight for results from Leachy and thinking back about what every one of them did previously. Passing out, a pain-inducing sound, similar to a dog whistle, was heard by all of them. In the interim, utilizing improvised implies, Leachy figures out that the toxic substance goes about as a narcotic due to a complex of unique proteins. She also found a red gas that was similar to the one they saw in the sky. Although she is unsure of its nature, the researcher suggests that the insects emit it. The drained crew decides to spend the night in the building before making their way to Cooper's father's bunker in the morning, stopping at the homes of each member along the way. Prior to dozing, Cooper attempts to recall where he met Sarah before on the grounds that her face is exceptionally natural to him. He can't rest and chooses to search for something to eat. Cooper is alarmed when a few tiny bugs suddenly burst out of a box and throws it away. But Cindy's sudden appearance behind him makes him even more afraid. Cindy tells Cooper that she works in television and suggests that they go to the studio together because they can call anyone anywhere in the world from there. Cooper concurs and says they will return for the others toward the beginning of the day. However, Cindy has other ideas. She only wants to go with Cooper. The guy starts to realize that he likes Cindy, but he doesn't feel the same way about it. The following morning, the gathering awakens to clamor coming from the wardrobe. The trap beetle is making horrible noises as it tries to escape and should attract its relatives. Albert kills the beetle by breaking into the closet. The people realize that it is time to leave, terrified. Because she wants to wake as many people as possible, Lychee refuses to go. She thinks that will make it easier to fight the insects. Outside, everyone, with the exception of Lychee, moves toward the city. Cooper and Sarah walk separately because he wants to talk to her. Cooper is described as being restricted and immature by Sarah, who dislikes such inquiries. They sarcastically discuss their feelings for one another, as though they were old friends. The group finally reaches Albert and Hugo's house. They need to visit Hugo's confined to bed mother. While the girls decide to wait outside for the men, Cooper goes inside with them. Out of nowhere, Sarah finds a note with Cooper's telephone number in her pocket. Sadly, Hugo's mother has already passed away. Albert storms out of the house carrying a gun and declaring that he is prepared to move on. He is informed by Cooper that giant beetles will immediately swarm to the sound if he fires. However, Albert disregards this observation. The remainder can only hope for his logic. The group is now getting closer to Cindy's brother's house. They see a number of people in cocoons lying suspiciously next to each other in the yard. Cindy's brother suddenly emerges from the garage holding yet another cocoon. Nevertheless, the man has transformed into a terrifying mutant. He is now half insect, half human. Cooper is injured when he attacks the survivors. He grabs Cindy as she tries to talk to him. Hugo saves the blonde, yet Cindy asks him not to kill her sibling. Not understanding that all in all nothing remains of him in this animal. Hugo and Albert finally use forks to stab the insane mutant. In the house, the terrified individuals come to their senses. While Hugo and Albert make sure that all of the doors and windows are locked, Sarah tends to Cooper's wound. If he also turns into a monster, Cooper asks Sarah not to hit him, but to simply run away. The person says that he generally longed for some sort of calamity so he could live in the forest with a young lady like Sarah and repopulate the planet. They talk to each other and share more details about themselves. Cooper admits that he also lost his mother recently. Albert develops a sudden illness as he continues to explore the house. Is the nibble of the horrible bug making itself felt? Sarah is met by the man in the kitchen. He asks her to take care of his son the same way she takes care of Cooper, but he doesn't tell her about his condition. The girl accepts the request despite her surprise. After a long day, Cooper goes to sleep. Cindy wakes him up suddenly and tells him that her brother was nice and always cared about her. The girl is reassured by Cooper that nothing will go wrong. However, Cindy now desires Cooper to care for her. She takes off her clothes and lays down next to the surprised man. She tries to kiss him, but he pushes her away and tells the girl who is in love that he is thinking about something else right now. Cindy is outraged by Cooper and leaves the room. The remaining individuals continue their journey. Sarah takes a gander at the strange smoke once more. What's more, feels that it is ascending from the home of the awful animals. She wants to go there because it might be her mother's place. Cooper deters the young lady, since the possibilities finding her and getting out alive are exceptionally thin. Once more, a group of giant wasps fly over the survivors. In the hope that the insects will pass, people become silent. Yet, unexpectedly, Cindy sees that Cooper and Sarah are clasping distributes of dread. She becomes enraged at Cooper, breaks out in hysterics, and she starts screaming, which draws the beetles in. The remainder attempt to calm her down without success. Albert shoots her with a rifle as nothing works. Cooper and Sarah are in a state of shock, but Albert asserts that she would not have stopped otherwise. One more fight with the startling wasps starts. While Albert eliminates a number of creatures, one of them catches him and tries to drag him away. The man is freed because Cooper was able to stop the rifle in time. However, an insect attacks him at that very moment. She tries to assist him. The immense wasp discharges him yet quickly gets the young lady and takes off with her. Cooper, Albert, and Hugo finally arrive at their destination after a long journey. Lucy is the name Cooper's father gives his favorite dog. Cooper asks his father not to shout, but his father keeps trying to find Lucy because he loves Lucy almost as much as his son does. Albert's tooth suddenly falls out in the evening. Following that, he starts to change into a revolting freak. Cooper attempts to distract the terrifying creature as he attacks Cooper. It slackens its hold, and afterward the freak father's own child shoots him. Hugo breaks down in tears, but he tells Cooper that his father told him to do it. The gunshot triggers a swarm of additional insects. Ethan, Cooper's dad, obliterates one of them, and presently them three attempt to stow away. They find the mutated Lucy in the bedroom, and Ethan is able to distract her with her favorite toy. They are attacked by a slew of horrible beetles at once, but they manage to hide in a bunker. As he says, "Good night," the father abruptly turns off the light. When Cooper almost gets hit by a car, his memory comes back to us. However, presently it just so happens, Sarah was in the driver's seat. Cooper gives the girl his phone number in case he damages her car despite their argument. Naturally, this is just a pretext for asking her out. To this end, Sarah had a note with the kid's telephone number. Because of this, Cooper noticed that Sarah's face resembled his own. Cooper wakes up suddenly when his father calls him. At breakfast, Ethan says there are no administration messages on the radio, and that implies they're all alone. He plans a route to a safe location and provides his son with camouflage clothing. Cooper is dissatisfied that his father is once more making decisions on his behalf. All things considered, the person expects to slip into the home and save Sarah, however his dad won't help him. Cooper is disappointed, but he doesn't give up on his goal and leaves to help Sarah on his own. But the military takes him into custody at once and detains him. The person fails to see what's happening. Cooper hears from the old man in the cell next door that the police think they are all infected and will soon become mutant beetles. It turns out that the old man was one of the Lychee group members when he tells his story. However, they were unable to control the insects. It turned out that the strange smoke coming from the beetle's nest was an ignitable gas that all insects produce. As a result of it, a fire broke out that obliterated the gathering's safe house. Only the elderly man survived. Sarah awakens in the terrifying insect's nest at the same time. Numerous cocoons surround her. She tries to escape this awful place. Ethan and Hugo are brought to the site. Cooper attempts to make sense of for the police that it's actual straightforward. To check who's contaminated, simply search for a bite mark on their back. It turns out that Ethan has already been stung, so they agree to check his back. A gunfight ensues. Simultaneously, the enduring elderly person transforms into a bug and is promptly obliterated. Cooper's father figures out how to manage the police, and them three departure from the site, taking weapons and other valuable things, including explosives. Sarah, scared, continues to look inside the enormous nest and discovers the queen laying eggs. Hugo, Ethan, and Cooper continue their journey on bicycles that they found nearby the site. Ethan talks about how he got stung. He liberated the neighbor's canine from a cover. In any case, it began yelping, drawing in the scarabs. Warding them off, Ethan got stung as well. When the group reaches a cliff, they find a huge nest of disgusting insects. Ethan is now even more determined to break into the hideout and destroy it. Sarah is horrified as the queen eats cocoons of people. The girl makes plans to move away from her, but she meets a child who is mutant. He starts screaming suddenly and piercingly when he senses Sarah. Sarah must leave as soon as possible. Ethan develops a sudden illness. Cooper wants to assist him, but Hugo knocks him out while their father holds Hugo in handcuffs to a tree. The man decides to sneak into the nest and blow it up because he has nothing left to lose. He leaves after saying his son goodbye. Ethan is already at the nest's entrance. Hugo regains consciousness simultaneously, and Cooper is soon set free. Despite the man's instructions to stay away from this location, the boys head straight for the nest without hesitation. Every sound is carefully considered by Sarah. Ethan suddenly approaches her. The alarmed young lady thinks it's a bug and cuts him with a blade in the hand. They present themselves. Furthermore, Ethan clears up for her how she can get away. Sarah cries since she hasn't had the option to track down her mom. He tells her he came to blow up this horrible nest to calm her down. Sarah recommends that Ethan take him to the Sovereign's nest. They arrive at this unnerving spot. Yet, they don't track down the Sovereign there. Sarah is told by Ethan to leave. Abruptly, they find the Sovereign above them. She is prepared to strike. Ethan fires at her, but it's hard to kill this enormous creature. Cooper and Hugo hear the hints of gunfire and rush to help. A deafening sound begins to emanate from the queen. In any case, Hugo has hearing issues, so her shout doesn't influence him. Just in time, the guy puts explosives in her mouth. Cooper keeps on taking shots at her, at the point when unexpectedly his dad begins changing into a beast. The guys rush out the door. Cooper initiates the explosives. What's more, the entire home is overwhelmed on fire, after which it detonates and breaks into little pieces. Sarah and Hugo greet Cooper when he arrives at the hospital. When they open the window, they now hear bird songs rather than creepy noises. Hugo finally asks Sarah out on a date after the guys finally venture out onto the street and begin